back to Altered Things. Gonna make this video about my 1988 Silver Coupe. So you guys have seen probably the exhaust videos on the car, just some random stuff about it. I've never really done a full video on the car, so here it is. Started life, 88 5-liter 5-speed car. I believe it was white originally. I found the car last year. When I got the car, it was a non-rolling chassis, so it was sitting on a hoist with no K-member, no suspension, no axle, no transmission, no engine. It did have a black interior, but it was all painted except for the seats, the headliner, and the carpet. So over the winter, I installed a drivetrain, put a real black interior in the car, and what you see behind me is what the car is today. So the seats were in the car when I got it, and they haven't been dyed or anything. I believe they're TMI seat covers. It had a real black carpet, real black headliner, and so I took everything else out that had been dyed and I put real black interior in it. And just got some odometer gauges, the silver ones. I've got the netted halo headrests. So I've had a few sets of these. I've been pretty lucky, and this is some stuff I've been saving over time, and it wound up in this car. And something else that I've been saving that finally wound up in a car, I don't know how well you can see it, is this Ford Motorsport 160 mile per hour speedometer. Had it for a while, just kind of waiting for the right car to put it in, and it happened to be the Silver Coupe here. And so this is my first Foxbody with the cup holder console, and I gotta say it's awesome. I had a 5-liter way back in the heyday. We always had our drinks wedged in between the e-brake and the seat, and that's just awesome. So this car was a non-power window car. I put the wiring in behind the dash, put the different regulators in, the power window motors. So over the winter, I also converted the rear Cobra brakes, put front Cobra brakes on it, and a set of the BBS RK plasmas. So the interesting fact about these BBS RK plasmas is I actually had to drive 9.5 hours to get them because the owner wouldn't ship them. He was scared one would get damaged, and I understand that. So I hopped in the car and drove 9.5 hours each way. So I've had quite a few offers to sell these wheels, but they're not going anywhere. So if you guys are wondering about the stance on the car, I'll just give you a little bit of a rundown on that. It's just stock springs with one coil cut. It rides really well that way. It's a decent height, not too low, but not high. It's got UPR, lower control arms. Rear axle is one that I got used actually out of South Carolina. It's 31 spline with 373s, hardened axles, all the good stuff. Aluminum drive shaft, and yeah, it's just your basic little street car that I want to put some miles on and go. And yeah, I chose this car because I've had a lot of Foxbodies and I wanted something unique. Whenever I go to the car shows, I had a black coupe that was my most prized possession. Some people that watch the channel may remember it. It wore the I Dare You plates like this car, and it had a pretty neat history to it. A lot of documentation. Ford engineer owned it brand new, and every time I took it to a show, people just walked by it. It was just another black coupe. So when this car came up, I wanted something a little bit different, something that grabbed your attention maybe right from the start. Don't get me wrong, I still love a black on black coupe. I'd love to have another one here right now. Probably track one down in the future, but for now I'm gonna rock this car and have some fun with it. All right guys, so the last owner of this car, he shaved the engine bay, and if you see my shaved engine bay video, you know that that could be a source of potential issues, where it's hiding structural damage, it's hiding accident damage, it's hiding rust, any of that. If you don't know how it's done, it may not even be hiding rust, but it may just not have been prepped right, and eventually that could lead to rust issues. Luckily, a friend of mine owned this car and I got to see it, beforehand. When he originally got it, there was no rust issues, there was no accident issues, there was nothing. It's just a nice straight car. So I actually got to see it in process as well when he put the Scott Rod panels in it, and then he was able to match the paint, and he did a really great job on the engine bay. So I was fortunate to be able to see all that. As I said, when I got the car, it had no engine, transmission, anything like that. So this is an engine that I had laying on the floor. It'd come out of a car that I brought to Ontario from Florida. And the car did not run. And when I sold the car, the owner did not want the engine. We made a deal that I would take it out, set it on the floor. I had no history on the engine. The gentleman I bought the engine from wasn't sure if it was any good. I found a cam locally on the classifieds for 60 bucks. When I showed up, it was sitting in a wheelbarrow. It was wet and it had rust on it. So I kind of wet sanded it with some oil, polished it up, and I threw it in. Seems pretty good, the old B303. And I watch a lot of videos in the States. You guys have a lot of Explorer parts, a lot of GT40, GT40P parts. In Canada, that's nowhere near the case. I was lucky to find an engine about 4.5 hours away out of an Explorer. It was a 97 or 8 engine. GT40P had it anyway. And I got a pretty good deal on it. I put trick-flow valve springs in the heads, put them on this engine. And then I bought a car out of Georgia a while back, brought it up here, and the gentleman sold me an original Coupe intake, so that's what's on the car now. However, this car should be getting a GT40 tubular upgrade at some point. So there's the engine, 1 3/4 inch headers, 3-inch H-pipe, 3-inch cats, sorry, it's a 3-inch pro chamber, 3-inch cats, 3-inch Flowmaster mufflers, 2.5-inch tailpipes. The only reason for the 2.5-inch tailpipes is that's what I had hanging around. I try and do most things I can on the cheap, and just with what I've got. So it's also got a set of 1.7 rockers on top of it. Has SN95 brake booster. I pulled off a V6 car. Cobra brakes all around. If you guys have seen my video on electric fans, you know it's sporting my favorite SN95 fan. Those things just look factory, work real good. Bolt up very nice to the Fox rad. Got some aluminum underdrive pulleys. It has an adjustable proportioning valve, line lock, you know, just some basic stuff. It's more of a period correct piece other than the wheels, something you would have found mid to late 90s, I suppose. It's not the fastest thing in the world, doesn't make a ton of power, but it is a lot of fun. It's a great cruiser, it gets a lot of attention, and it's just something I can put a lot of miles on. So there it is, the I Dare You Coupe, 1988, silver, EBS RK plasma. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video on my Coupe. Gonna have some more videos coming your way soon. And remember, leave no staying unaltered. Till next time, thanks for watching.